We don't care.
Women in their 30s are desperate. She was desperate to get married. She was desperate to have children.
They are enraged because we won't date them.
Single men do not approach women in the wild.
Right, if you're a single woman these days, you're probably not getting approached by men that often in the wild.
They never approach nobody ever approaches them.
I'm usually the one that approaches a guy.
And are trying to cope with their new reality.
I think it might be time to normalize being single and alone.
Can we start normalizing being single?
No one prepares you for the loneliness that you feel in your 20s.
So a lot of ex-supermodels, a lot of top-tier women are very lonely people.
The pretty girls are often loneliest most.
We need to normalize being young and being single.
Something I had to learn is that it's okay to admit that you're lonely.
They ask why men refuse to date them yet openly admit to mistreating and taking advantage of their boyfriends and husbands.
Women are smarter than men. How do you think we finessed our way into staying at home, focusing on our hobbies, and putting hair curlers in our hair every single day up until the 21st century, while men had to slave away at work and go to war?
If she gave you a guilt-free pass to sleep with anybody, would you take it?
No, sir. You might get one pass, but at the end of the day, you want one wife. And this is the wife I want. So no.
Okay. Now what about you if he gave you one?
If he gave me a guilt-free pass, I would take it.
Who would you take it with?
Lindy Waters III.
Who else?
Barry Sanders. I'm in love with him.
Now what do you think those men have over your men?
They're professional athletes.
That's crazy.
Why do I feel bored by my current boyfriend who is seemingly stable but really boring? Yet in the past I was with unstable partners who were really passionate. Like, what gives? Do I really have to lower my standards?
Their entitlement and ungratefulness has led them down this path. Yet they still don't acknowledge their own self-destructive behavior and continue to do it.
This is exactly why my boyfriend gives me a $20,000 monthly allowance as a girlfriend. You need to secure a stay-at-home salary as a girlfriend from the very first date. Before you move in with a man, you tell him, it's scary out there. You have the power to make me homeless at any moment. So for my safety, security, peace of mind, and happiness, I need an allowance.
This lady doesn't have a boyfriend and doesn't receive any allowance yet. That doesn't stop her from wanting to give destructive advice to other women in the hopes of instilling further dissatisfaction about the men in their lives. Now let's take a look at what happens to the women who buy into this destructive advice that is spread by other single women.
40 is like the new 20. Everything is better in your 40s.
I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but that feeling when you feel like you're alone, and it can't get any lonelier than this, bro.
And then I was driving home and I started feeling this like wave of depression and anxiety, and I got home and I felt like just so sad and lonely, and I walked into my empty apartment and I thought, God, I wish that I had someone who could just hold me right now. Like, I wish that I had someone who could just take care of me.
I'm 23 and I've never had a boyfriend, and this is why I think I've always been single.
No one prepares you for the loneliness that you feel in your 20s. I'm currently sitting alone in my apartment. It is 1 a.m. I'm drinking water out of a wine glass because it's the only thing
We don't care.
I don't have anyone. I have myself and my dog. And don't get me wrong, I love being alone, but
instead of trying to make changes to resolve the situation they put themselves in, they would rather cope and demand that we normalize women being single in their 30s.
I think it might be time to normalize being single and alone. Maybe let's just, get rid of the stigma that you have to be with someone and just embrace being single, because it's okay.
You need to normalize being single in your 30s and restarting later on in life. And I know a lot of people listen. That's always something that It's more females, but they'll be like, I got divorced or I broke up. Now I don't know what to do because they were my whole life. And so I think it's just good to hear that.
Something I had to learn is that it's okay to admit that you're lonely. I think as a strong, independent Black woman,
We don't care.
We need to normalize being young and being single.
Hi, sorry to insert my opinion, but who's we? I'm just gonna say it. I feel like we have way too many choices, and we also have way too many ideals for what a relationship should be, you know? If they loved you, they would do this. If they did this, they would do that. Like, oh my god, you don't need that, girl. It's this, oh, it just gets me so mad. I feel like it's this idea that you have to have someone obsessed with you all the time.
Very true. They have too many expectations and demands of what a man should do and what a relationship should be like, to the point where they are always unsatisfied with what they already have, which leads to a repetitive self-destructive cycle of nothing being good enough for them.
If you're single in your 30s, I see you. It's really freaking hard. I got a divorce when I was 31, and typically that's the time when everyone is like settling down, finding their partner, getting married, having kids, buying a house, all the things. I was doing the exact opposite. And I can't tell you how isolating it felt. I could feel the clock running out of time. And women, we can preserve our fertility a little bit, but still, we don't have the luxury of men to just kind of find a partner whenever and start a family whenever. And it's such a stressful, overwhelming, scary time for just not knowing if it will happen.
The truth is, and it sucks, I hate it, but if you're in a place where you still want to have kids and you're late 30s, 35 to early 40s, and you want to have kids, and these guys are right around your same age, they know they have a lot of time. They know they have a lot of time. And so they'll tell me they usually don't want to date women around that age because they don't want to rush.
Things men do not want you to know. They do not want you to know anything about their past. And they also don't want to know anything about yours. Honestly, they'd prefer to completely not know you. They would so much rather and prefer it to be a fresh start. Because only God knows what you've done and what they've done. And it's going to overall affect how they think of you.
The only time a man doesn't care about your past is when he has no plan of committing to you.
Body count doesn't matter. We all need experience. You can't go to a job and not know what you're doing. You fired. For example, that my girl has 100 bodies. You need to pack your stuff now. Shoot. That shit matters. Hell yeah. 100 bodies? No. No.
This is a hazard function for another relationship. How long you've been after a girl, and the line here is your chance of getting a date. So if you move in quickly, you're still just met and you're still exciting, got a pretty good chance of getting a date. But if you wait too long, you get stuck right down there in the friend zone. That's not someplace you want to be. But then if you wait long enough,
Anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to
The Modern King.
exclusive content.
If you enjoyed this video, I promise you'll enjoy this next video. I will see you there. Farewell, everyone.